When you were a kid, you would do something, be like, Mom, look, Dad, look at me, you know, and you weren't afraid. What I want to speak about today is one thing that is stopping you from growing, and it's not what you think it is. So I want to start off by reciting one of my favorite quotes of all time, which is from the movie Coach Carter, and it goes like this. Your deepest fear is not that you are inadequate. It is that you are powerful beyond measure. It is your light, not your darkness, that most frightens you. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You were meant to shine as a child does. And as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same because you are liberated from your own fear. Your presence automatically liberates others. So one of the secrets to your life is given away in those first two lines. Your deepest fear is not that you are inadequate, it's that you are powerful beyond measure. So one of the reasons that stops you from growing is because you're not afraid of who you've been. You're not afraid of who you are. You're afraid of who you could be. You're afraid of your own light. You're afraid of the greatest possible outcome. And it's funny, you don't think about the greatest possible outcome with this thing that seems to be really just sucking right now. You don't think about it that way. We just think it sucks and it's going to stay like this. It's going to get a little bit better each day. And sure, like bit by bit is where it starts, but it helps you so much when you start thinking bigger. Because when you start thinking bigger, you start taking bigger actions. And so these common thoughts that go through us are like, oh, if I just get through this, if I just try and make this work, a common one is if I just try and make it to Friday, if I just get to Friday and then I get the weekend, if I can just stay in this job for another year, if I just stay in this relationship for another year, I'll get to where I want to be, I'll get to who I want to be. But it doesn't work like that. It's very interesting when you break it down how we don't think, like why we don't think of the greatest possible outcome of something that we're going through right now, a situation, a circumstance that we're going through right now. And we're on, I don't know if you've seen these videos where they show a person laying down in the grass, or they show a leaf or an ant, and they zoom out and they zoom out and it gets bigger and you see the clouds, you see the sky, and then you see the earth, and then you see the universe, and you see other planets, and you see the galaxy, and it's just like you're this little speck of dust and in the whole scheme of things. And there's two ways that you can take that. One is, and this is the way that most people take it, is that I'm just a little speck of dust, like nothing does really matter, like who really cares what I do? Or the other way you can take it, and which is the way that I advise you to take it because it's so much more exciting and it makes so much more, it seems like there's just so much more purpose to your life when you think of it this way, is that I am so small. I am this little tiny speck of dust in an infinite galaxy in infinite time, and I am so small that I have to matter. I have to have a purpose. I am that small. I've been put here. I'm so tiny that I have to matter. I have to have a purpose. But a lot of people don't think about it like that, right? So you're this tiny little speck of dust, which is unbelievable in the grand scheme of things, and you struggle in this unbelievable universe that you're in to believe in yourself. You're not thinking great enough of yourself. And what we like to say, oh man, but I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, but trying it doesn't cut it. Like trying is this half-assed word. And like when you go to the toilet, you don't try and go to the toilet. When you go to the shower, you don't try and go to the shower. You don't try and brush your teeth. You don't try and tie your shoelaces. You just do it. And it gets done that way, the quickest and most efficient way. And guess what? It becomes easier because you did it once, you do it again, and you do it over and over again until before you know it, you're tying your laces with your eyes closed. I know Tony Robbins, when he coaches people, he'll ask them and they're trying to make their way to the light, and he'll ask them, okay, so what have you done to become great? Like to make your way to this person that you can be, you're meant for more. So what have you tried? And they'll say, oh, I went to a therapist, I started I went to the gym a little bit and, that wasn't working. And then I changed what I was eating, but that wasn't working. And it's like, okay, so just let me get this straight. The very big thing that's holding you back in your life, you've tried 3 things to overcome that. And they say, well, yeah. Okay, so you've tried 3 things. Okay, why don't you try 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 things for this one thing that's holding you back, and then we can talk. And it's just so interesting. I'm not having a go at you. I'm not saying how did you not know this? Because I was the same. I thought like that. It's just It's the human condition. It's just how we think. I see this all the time with kids. Now that I have a daughter, I'm around kids a little bit more. And when they try something new, they'll try it. And then if they suck at it, they most likely won't try again because they're like, I'm not good at this. And then the parents are like, come on, like try again. They try, and then they do it 2 times and 3 times. And they still can't really do it properly. And then they're just like, man, I suck. Like, just stop. But the funny thing is that's the attitude that we take through our lives when we get to adults. We're like, we try a couple things here and there to improve things, to make our way to the light. But, oh no. And then we just like go back down to what we've been doing. And then what happens is, and this is the sad part, is that you get too afraid to go towards the light. So then you just stay in the darkness and you get really comfortable in the darkness. But this comfort, when you're comfortable in life, that is the formula for stagnation. So you're not afraid of who you have been. You're afraid of who you could be. You're afraid of your potential. And the word potential comes, the root word is a Latin word that's potentia. And that means force. And this force comes from you. It, like, tap yourself in the chest. It comes from you. If you don't use this potentia, this force, to get to your potential, then outside forces are always going to determine your life. I love this quote by Alex Hormozi, and he says, if God wanted to make you great, I'm paraphrasing, if God wanted to make you great, he would make you small first. If God wanted you to have a rewarding life, he would make it difficult for you. Like, if God wanted to make you great, he wouldn't just make you great. If God wanted you to have a rewarding life, he wouldn't just give you a rewarding life, because then you have like nothing to do. You have nothing to go toward, right? You have like, there's no potential because there's no space between where you want to go and where you are. You're just there already. So we are made, just like a seed, you're made to be buried in the ground, but make your way toward the light. And I was speaking to this guy this morning, like, how does a seed first grow in the soil? It germinates. It has to literally break itself. It has to break itself open. And as Terence McKenna says, you have to break yourself open to discover what is inside of you. Remember when you were a kid, and I just reference kids a lot now because I learned so much from my daughter. But when you were a kid, you would do something, be like, Mom, look, Dad, look at me, and you weren't afraid of yourself. You weren't afraid of your greatness. You weren't afraid of your light, of other people seeing how great you are. But over time, as you get older, we get put in these boxes of, as school is one of them, university, and then a job, and then we just seem to just shrink down, and we lose that. And then there's this other thing of, if you want to break out of those boxes that you've been put into, you think it's almost like you shouldn't, because if you show how great you are, it's almost like that line of being like too confident or arrogant even. And then you're relying on, again, outside forces and judgments, and that's why you just stay in that box. So you need to rekindle that spark you had as a kid. That greatness, it's still there. Go toward it. It's one of the highest desires you have, I have, people have, is wanting to be seen and wanting to be heard. And you're never going to be seen if you're only following the herd. It's a line from my first book that's coming out soon. So go and make your way to the light. Recognize you're meant for more, because you are meant for more than what you currently are doing and who you currently are. There are little bits inside of you, little thoughts. I was just thinking about this on the way here, that maybe in your day, say you have 100 thoughts, and out of those 100 thoughts, 90% of them are putting you down or lack thoughts. But there's 10% of them, there might be like 3, 4, 5 thoughts you have during the day that are very uplifting and that are very great. And the more that you listen to that voice, the more you believe in that voice, and the more you act on that voice, that's when your life will start to change. I promise you, like, this is how people make their way to the light. This is how people do it. It's one of the ways. And I want to keep sharing these discoveries and these secrets that shouldn't be secrets with you guys, so that they can hopefully better your life right now. As always, it is so hot here today. It's 40 degrees Celsius here today in Perth, Western Australia. So I'm about to go jump in the pool. I hope you guys have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Remember, always be kind, be caring, be courageous, and I'll see you on the next video. Lots of love.